In this video, we're going to talk about template management, and more specifically, card processing of template management. For each merchant that we're going to be boarding, we need to ensure that we have templates set up. To access our template management, we go into Portfolio Tools and Template Management. Now, here are all the products I have set up within template management. And for your portfolio, we will set up the products that you need. So while this is a demonstration portfolio, and it may have more products than you have ability to sell with CyberSource, you will only see the products that are available to you. Additionally, some products don't have a template, such as recurring billing and invoicing. The reason those are not in the template management is because those are enable-only products. Now with template management, and let's first specifically talk about card processing, and we'll do a video for each product that is in the list. For card processing template management, what you will see here is the ability to have a template name, a template ID, and if the template is the default template. Now, you may ask yourself, why would I have more than one template for card processing? Well, part of the reason you may have more than one template are several examples. Maybe there is multiple processors for your portfolio, such as First Data Nashville, and TSYS. In that example, you may want to have a template for each one. Maybe there is a situation where you have a card processing and, a card present and a card not present template. The thing that you want to think about most when especially creating your card processing templates is, what is the information that I need in my template where the agent has the least amount of information to type in? Now, the template ID is the value that can be leveraged within our API, and the template name is the name of the template that you'll see in the UI. You also have the ability to delete it, edit it, or change it and make it to the default. Let me start off by adding a new template here. So let's call this template ABC. And that is the name of my template. And in this case, I'll make the description the same as the name. And I'll make my template here the default template. So it'll be the first template that pops up in the list. And it'll also be the first template when I actually board a merchant will be used. Now, the first question I get is, does this a card present or card not present? Only very few processors have the option to do both, and please consult with your TAM or your processor if it can support both. In this example, I'll do a card not present template since that's the majority of the options here. Now here you'll see the processors that my portfolio is configured with. Now in my portfolio, because it's a demonstration portfolio, I will have more processors in this list than you will for yours. So let me choose a VPC processor. Now what I want to do is check add. And in this case, as you're going through the template, you may recognize these values if it's a value for your processor that you board every time, right? What you want to think about when you create this template is, what is the information that is going to be the same for each merchant over and over and over again? So our goal today is to not discuss each field in template creation, but more to discuss, what values would you be templating or more than likely to be templating, right? So this section here on the acquire information, especially on a VPC template, country code, destination ID, ICA, and BIN, these are values that are more than likely the same merchant over merchant, so you're more than likely to template. Now, if you did have multiple bins on a VPC connection, that could actually be another reason why you might have multiple templates, one template per bin and or country. Now for payment information, Visa, MasterCard, as well as the currency, this is information that you're probably more than likely going to template as well. So maybe for my template here, I'm going to choose Visa and MasterCard, and I'm going to add a currency. I'll choose US dollar and I'll add it. Now I have two options here, to apply to all payment types or apply to this payment type. If I were to apply it to all payment types, that'll automatically select all the payment types and add the USD currency. Now, if I chose the other option, in this case I'll choose the Canadian, and I'll apply just to this payment type, let's not have moved it over, and apply to this payment type, you'll see here that my currency count would have gone up. So Visa, I'm supporting two currencies, USD and Canadian. So for purposes of our demonstration, I'm going to remove the Canadian, apply that, and I'll just go down to Visa and MasterCard. I'm just simply selecting not selected. So now my template is so far set up so that every time I board a merchant, my country codes are selected, and Visa and MasterCard with the USD currency are selected. Now for values in this section, again, our goal today in this video is to not necessarily discuss which values are you should or should not be templating. That's up for you to decide as the portfolio that are going to board your merchants. But really to look at each field and say, are each of my merchants going to do multiple bills? If no, then keep it no. If yes, then yes. Are most of my merchants going to do auth reversals after void? If it's yes, then keep it yes. If it's no, then keep it no. Really what you're thinking about is what are the values for each of my merchants that is going to be the same the majority of the amount of times, right? So for the values, I'll leave as is for the default values that CyberSource selected. Now you'll also see merchant ID and terminal ID in here. Now for some of the acquirers out there listening to this video, you more than likely are not going to template this value because at the time of boarding, you are going to be entering the merchant ID and terminal ID, right? What we did when we created the template concept is to ensure that all the configs are in the template for you, the portfolio, to pre-configure. We may have, the reason the items like merchant ID and terminal ID are because we may have portfolios who might need to configure these values because these values are the same merchant over merchant. So we wanted to leave no stone unturned to ensure that all the configuration values are up here. But there is no requirement in the template to template any specific value, right? You can template whatever you want. Now additionally too, we also have this section called common settings. This is a section of which the values are common processor over processor. Now again, there's just more values for you to template. So items like category code, if you're an acquirer listening to this, is probably something that I'm not going to template. But if you're a large merchant listening to this, this is something you may want to template because it's going to be the same every mid that you board. Right? Now, I could hit submit on our value here, but I want to show one additional feature that you can do. If you're a portfolio that has multiple processors, and an example of this might be maybe for your Visa and MasterCard, you're doing your VPC connection, or for your Visa and MasterCard, possibly you're doing a direct connection such as First Data or Chase Payment Tech, but possibly maybe you're also doing China Union Pay or the CUP processor or Amex Direct and the Amex processor. So if I were to add, I have the ability here to add more than one template on a processor. So let's add Amex here, and I'll add the Amex Direct processor. And now the template that I'm creating has two processors on it, Vantiv for the VPC and Amex Direct. So now I can also go ahead and pre-configure Amex Direct. I'll add the Amex processor. I'll add the USD currency, and I'll add the processing settings, and in this case I'll just choose batch group. And now I'm going to go ahead and tick submit, and what I've done is I created a template that I can use when I go ahead and board merchants. It's called template ABC. It's created a template ID. And when I board merchants, I'm going to be calling this template, and we'll use this in our demonstration later. So this was a quick demonstration on creating templates specific to card processing. We'll do more videos on adding additional product templates.